what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Soul Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live. The alone do we serve, and the alone beseech for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou spread thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is heard to be served, worship, or praised besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu alaikum. We have Brother Mikhail Shabazz from Tucson, Arizona. We have Brother Hanif Al-Ghani of Atlanta. We have Brother Abdul Ali of Maryland. We have Brother Marcus of Houston. We have Captain Rashid Nasir from Philadelphia. And we have Captain Hakeem and the Believers in Richmond. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today we like to talk about make Elijah Muhammad great again. We see that old Trump has won the presidency. And once again we have black people finally accepting the fact that white people might hate us again. It always takes this kind of stuff for black people to say, well, maybe they all don't like us. Maybe they all fake it. So we got Bus Stop Bishop. He shared a video of Muhammad Ali. And it says, understanding racial dynamics, why separation might be inevitable. But he's showing Muhammad Ali. And this is how him and all those who hate the messenger try to block the messenger. Because we don't realize that Muhammad Ali was only 23 years old when he became the heavyweight champion. I think he was 22 or 23. A young man. Deaf, dumb, and blind like us all. But what did Muhammad Ali say in this interview that lets us know for a fact he didn't get it from himself? This is Muhammad Ali. He said, we don't hate white people. We know the history of white people. For example, if a tiger broke in this room now, I would beat you getting out. If a rattlesnake broke in here, I would beat you getting off the stage. I don't hate rattlesnakes. I don't hate tigers. I just know I can't get along with them. After learning the nature of the snake and the tiger, I don't want to try to eat with them or sleep with them because I know he might bite me. I know whites and blacks cannot get along. This is nature. We so used to applying the messenger's teachings, or many of us was children, and our parents began to update our way of thinking. We update our religion, we update our beliefs, and add the messenger's teachings to it. Then many of us think that's just the common way to reason. If you don't want separation, or that you agree with separation, we think it's common to compare the nature of animals, the nature of fruit, the nature of plants. We think it's just common to do that. We don't understand that all this came from the message.
That's right.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But first, before we start talking about the message, there's some things we want to see about Muhammad Ali that Bishop Nathaniel and other fakes never like to show. He just want to show you Muhammad Ali saying this as if this was Muhammad Ali's independent reason. Like he was just so intelligent that he came up with this wise thing to say to get you to understand that we need to separate. So let's look at Muhammad Ali. This is Muhammad Ali. This is a poster behind Muhammad Ali. It says World Heavyweight Championship, Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston. And it has the date May 25th, 1965. So this was going to be the second time Muhammad Ali fought Sonny Liston. But when you see him in an interview, he's holding up two pictures. One of the pictures is a picture of Master Farad Muhammad, and the other picture is a picture of the message. All praise is due to Allah. When you go to this picture on Getty Images, it says Cassius Clay holding up photos of Wallace Farad Muhammad. It says original caption. So this was the original caption that was on this picture in 1965. It says heavyweight champion Cassius Clay, alias Muhammad Ali, holds up two photographs during a press conference here, May 23rd, after his arrival for his first defense of his title against Sonny Liston. It says the photos are of Wallace Farad Muhammad left, the black Muslim's master and savior, and Elijah Muhammad, leader of the sect of which the 23-year-old champion is a follower. It says this is Muhammad Ali's quote. He says, the only thing I'm afraid of is God and his messenger. This Muhammad Ali. And this is what these niggas bus stop and the rest of these fakes. They don't want to give the messenger credit. There was a chain of command in the Nation of Islam under the messenger. You had Master Farad Muhammad, then you had the messenger. Everything comes from Master Farad Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Everything comes from him. Our belief comes from him. The messenger comes. Everything comes from Master Farad Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
But these niggas is jealous.
Yes, sir.
I talk about this nigga because I want to represent a believer.
Yes.
I want to be the voice for a believer. I want to speak for the believer that can't speak for themselves.
Praise be to Allah.
Because all believers might not have the courage to just talk about this nigga. Maybe you don't like the nigga, but you say, I don't know what they might do. I ain't one of them. I don't like this nigga. I want to represent how Muslims represented with the message.
Yes, sir.
Because it's just a pause for the cause. One of my favorite ministers in the Nation of Islam that I was able to do research on is Jeremiah Shabazz. Because when I first began to do research of Muslim ministers in the nation, he one of the ones who his history is easily accessible. You can go to newspapers.com and you can find a lot of stuff on Jeremiah, plus he in the Muhammad speaks a lot. Jeremiah Shabazz, you could tell he loved the message. So as I looked at Jeremiah's history, I saw in him the kind of love for the messenger that I want. Jeremiah was the kind of brother that if you hated the messenger, he hated you. That's how he was. He wasn't ashamed to say it. I remember one time, it was a black Christian preacher. His name was Muhammad Kenyatta. You can go to newspapers.com and Google Muhammad Kenyatta. All this gonna come up. When that black mafia stuff that we know of today first came up, this preacher was trying to blame the messenger for selling drugs to the black community in Philadelphia. This is what he was trying to do. He was getting, because now when you Google the black mafia stuff, all you see is they connect. I think it was 3 Muslims that they connected to the mosque that was in Philadelphia. You had, I believe, over 10,000 Muslims in Philadelphia. But they connected 3 brothers some kind of way to the mosque. So everybody try to say, if you Google black mafia, all that's going to come up is they was Muslims. Now the messenger had temples in Miami. That was a big dope port with drugs. They can't connect no Muslims to that. Messenger got temples in Los Angeles, New York, Detroit. No connection with drugs at all. But because they could connect 3 brothers out of 10,000 Muslims, now they try to say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the one who funneling drugs. So Jeremiah Shabazz, when he first started talking about Muhammad Kenyatta, he was telling him, like most Muslims, giving him the history. We cleaning up the black man. Why would the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because this was in 1974, a year before you saying, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad been cleaning up the black man for 44 years. The Harlem Hospital, doctors was asking the messenger to come to Harlem Hospital to show them how he can make the black man quit cold turkey with drugs. So now you want to tarnish the reputation of the messenger and try to make people think that he connected with drugs. He said, okay, Mr. Muhammad Kenyatta. He said, it's Muslims who love the messenger, who not gonna like to hear you lying on him. So he said, I don't want to be responsible for what they do to you. He said, this is not a threat. This is a promise. He said it in a press conference. He let it to be known that we're not just going to sit here as Muslims and allow you to lie on the last and greatest messenger of Allah. Because if these Muslims is guilty for what they've done, you charge them with the crime.
Right.
You don't take and charge all Muslims for a crime of 3 people who you say is connected to the temple. Because when Christians commit crimes, they don't blame it on the church. When Catholics commit crimes, they don't blame it on the church. So why are you blaming it on the messenger?
Right.
This showed me how to be a follower of the messenger. No true follower of the messenger will allow anyone to lie on the last and greatest messenger of Allah.
Yes, sir.
So we see Muhammad Ali holding up a picture of Master Farad Muhammad, our God and Savior. This was obvious to the reporters. They said that Muhammad Ali is holding up the black Muslims' master and savior. Plus, he's holding up a picture of Elijah Muhammad, who the 23-year-old follows. So they understood that everything that Cassius Clay or Muhammad Ali said came from them two sources.
Right.
So let's look at where Muhammad Ali got it from. This is an article of the Messenger that came out October 31st, 1962. It's called The Nature of Separation. It comes from the October 31st, 1962, Muhammad speaks. This is the Messenger. He says, ever since Almighty God created the universe, there has been separation going on in it. The germ, the atom of life, was a double section and there was separation in it. In our brain, the cells are separated. According to the creation of the people of the present civilization today, they were also separated in the beginning of their time. So the Messenger giving us examples of separation.
Yes.
He giving us examples of separation starting from the very beginning. He ain't starting with the white man. He's starting with God.
Yes.
So he talks about an atom. Messenger breaking down an atom. How many all praises due to Allah? How many black people knew? Let's go to, he said ever since Almighty God Allah created the universe, there has been separation going on in it. The germ, or the atom of life, was a double section, and there was separation in it. The atom.
Yes.
How many black people knew that? You think 23-year-old Muhammad Ali knew that? No, he didn't know. He learned it from the Messenger. He learned it from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And this is the kind of stuff that causes brothers like Jeremiah to love the Messenger. We all know we didn't know that before. We knew nothing about an atom. But the Messenger of God, taking science and bringing it down to our level, he letting us know that even atoms are separated. Even our blood, our brain cells are separated. When Almighty God Allah first began creation, that's when separation started. So the Messenger goes on. He said when God created the heavens and the earth, he separated the planets from 30 million to 4 billion or more miles apart. He did not make one planet after the matter or kind of the other. Each was created of an essence that was independent of itself in the sphere it was created. This proved the superiority of God and his wisdom. He could create and bring into being anything that he willed and would not have to borrow from another. He could make worlds, planets, rotating space independent of one another. Each one different in color, each different in size. There are no two planets having the same civilization. This the message. First he tell us about an atom. Then he tell us about our brain. Then he tell us about planets. You got different planets, all separated by billions and millions of miles. He said all of them separated, got different sizes. No two has the same civilization. That's the message.
Yes, sir.
He the one that broke this down to us. The same man they mud wash. The same man today, they say he was trying to get the black man to sell drugs. Elijah Muhammad, a black man with this type of wisdom. Why would he have to try to get, this is the thing that I hate about black people today. The messenger had the kind of wisdom that could have you spellbound for 4 hours. The messenger, as they say, he even admitted himself. He said, I can't speak well. He said, Malcolm talked better than me. But he said, God taught me. That's the difference. He speak well. He can take what I teach him and put it into all of this beautiful, wonderful language. He said, I don't give myself credit for how he taught. He taught himself how to talk. But the one thing about me that nobody can take away, God taught me.
Yes, sir.
So the messenger cannot have a choir, not have a band, not do tricks, not do all the things we used to people doing to gain art. All he doing is getting up there talking.
Yes.
He could talk to the deaf, dumb, and blind for 4 hours. Can't even talk right. Coughing and choking. But you still sitting there spellbound.
Right.
Because God taught him. God didn't only teach him, God chose him.
That's right.
That's what we need to understand. He ain't just some man that's just taught. God chose him. When you choose a man, it's other people around. So you say, not him, but him.
Yes.
It was other niggas. And that's what they hate. God didn't choose this nigga. God didn't choose Muhammad Kenyatta. Because the one thing about what Jeremiah told this brother, Muhammad Kenyatta at first, he didn't apologize to the messenger. But one of the brothers who was with Muhammad Kenyatta wrote an article to the messenger apologizing. He said, I told Muhammad Kenyatta, he should not be talking about the Muslims like he do. He said, I lived in Philadelphia for years. He said, I seen plenty Muslims coming from prison. Muslims coming off drugs and alcohol, completely rearranging their life. He said, I apologize, Mr. Muhammad. I ain't no longer with Muhammad Kenyatta. That was the message. When the messenger transformed black culture, that's why I like his history. Everybody saw him. We wasn't there. Our reasoning now, since we add the messenger's teachings to so much stuff, and we in this generation don't even realize, we think this is just simple, regular reasoning. But it wasn't it. The messenger had to explain to us how separation is natural.
Yes.
So he said the nature of separation. Separation ain't just something I'm saying because I hate the white man. Separation ain't something I'm saying because I'm teaching you to hate. Separation is natural.
Yes.
Separation happens in nature. Separation happens in your brain cells. Separation happens in the very atom. And it's been happening since the beginning. So the messenger goes on. He says, in the creation of the life on the earth and the water on earth, you find a great variety of life. If we go to the sea, we find fishes after their kind. There are many fishes, and all are going in schools to themselves. They mate on to their own kind. Once again, that's the message.
Yes, sir.
This nigga bus stop. He can't break down no science like I listens to this nigga. All he know how to do is take what and when this nigga be in it, the messenger used to be in interviews, ain't had no Bible, no Quran. He just sitting there explaining stuff to us. This nigga, but he still had a nigga reading the Bible when he having an interview. All he knows how to do is to take the messenger's interpretation, add it to the Bible, and read a Bible verse. He can't teach you about separation like the messenger. Break down science to where even if you disagree with the messenger, you don't have nothing to say. How you argue with that? When this black man going back from the beginning, the very life germ, he telling you has two, what he say? He said the germ or the atom of life was a double section and there was... How you arguing with that? Oh, wow. Didn't know that. You could have came in loving the devil, but at least you would have something to think about.
Right.
The messenger always gave the black man something to think about.
Yeah.
So now he breaking down. He start from the atom. He talking about planets. He talking about brain cells. He talking about fish. He talking about the earth. Now he goes even further than that. He says on the surface, we see birds of many kinds flying over our heads, in the bushes and in the trees. Each of these birds made on to their own kind. If they did not make on to their own kind, we would not see great clouds of blackbirds flying over us. We would not see clouds of red birds and brown birds all going to themselves. The birds build their nests, and you do not find other birds trying to house themselves in there with them. If they try, there is a fight. Messenger warming us up. He warming us up. Now he get into animals. Talking about birds. Making it plain we got all different types of birds. So now the messenger turned the heat up a little bit on the black man. He said, oh, none of them try to get into each other's nests. But if they do, there's a fight.
Right.
What you gonna say? Imagine you sitting there listening to him personally telling you that. And you love to death. You trying to act like the hate and all that stuff. You sitting there looking like, wow, when he gonna stop? He keep going. And the messengers, they say the messenger was a fountain of wisdom.
Yeah.
That's what Jeremiah said. He used to think Malcolm was something heavy till he saw the message. He said a messenger was a fountain of wisdom. He said he said you could just turn him on and he wouldn't stop. He just keep on talking. That was the messenger. So the messenger goes on. He said, even in animal life, there is separation among insect life, whether they are crawling on their legs, or on their bellies, or flying on their wings. They all mate with their own kind. He piling it all on you. Like, what can you say after? And he ain't done. He's still. And the bad thing about if you sitting in there, you wasn't ready for all of this. You just a deaf, dumb, and blind Negro who loved a white man. You ain't ready for all that. And then once you understand, he ain't even halfway done explaining it to you. You thought you loved the devil. Now you sitting there like, how in the world can they pull this on me all this time?
Right.
And all the time, he been right. And I thought he was teaching hate. He's slowly rearranging my thought. I ain't gonna be the same man I was when I came in his house. Brother might drive home with the radio off, just staring in the clouds. I ain't never had nobody talk to me like that. This the messenger of God. Then the messenger go on. He said if they did not make on the wrong one. He says even in animal life, there is separation among insect life, whether they are crawling on their legs or on their bellies or flying on their wings. They all mate with their own kind. If you go to a red ant bed, you will find all red ants. If any other ant tries to enter, they will kill him. if a big red ant will crawl over in a small black ant's house, all of them come out and kill him. He does not get away. In the jungle, all the beasts live to themselves and made on to their own kind, turning that heat up.
Yeah.
Now he making you feel stupid now. He done put something on your mind that you never thought, and you feeling like, wow, that's, Then he keep talking, you like, dang, I ain't know that. Now he turned the heat up, and now you feeling like, dang. Now you feeling stupid. Now you wishing he would stop. But he ain't done yet. He just turning up the heat, and you sweating. So the messenger goes on. He said, among human beings, the black man lives in Africa. The brown man lives on the island of the Pacific. The yellow man living on the continent known as Asia. The red man is here in North America and elsewhere. Before the coming of the white man, this was a red man's house. If there had not been an interference of intermixing because of the white man's desire to have power and rule the nations of the earth, there would not have been any mixing in the isles of the Pacific among the inhabitants there. You can't blame the white man for beating and kicking you and busting you in your skull, hanging you on a tree for trying to get you into his house. He does not want your kind mixing with his kind. If you had been proud of yourself and loved your own kind, you would have bust his head and hung him on a tree if he tried to get in your house. You would today be respected. Now he making the Uncle Tom feel dumb. You done sat there all that time, thought you had one over on him. Because you thought you was about to do like bus stop and start talking about the Bible. Jesus said, turn the other cheek. Bless those who despitefully, but not a messenger say no. God started separating from the beginning. He started with that. Adam is separated in two parts, and they both separate. He started with the planets. He started with our brain cells, animals, insects, birds, everything. Now he get to you. You can't blame the white man busting you in your head, hanging you from a tree. He don't want you mixing with him. What he's doing is natural. But what you doing ain't natural. Now you on the hot seat. What you gonna say? This how the messenger had black people who never was Muslims, but they practiced portions of his teachings. This type of black man is from God. God chose him.
Yes, sir.
He said, Master Farad Muhammad came July 4th, 1930. He said, I was just as blind as you. He said, I was so deep in the mud, all you could see was my eyeballs. He said, I ain't know nothing like you ain't know nothing. But God taught me. He taught me for 3.5 years. He said the knowledge of both books, Bible and Holy Quran. But what we don't understand about the Bible don't teach us about separation. Let me say it, just like I said last week. The white man wrote the Bible. Just like the white man wrote the Bible don't talk about separation. If it talked about separation, why would the messenger have to do this much explaining to get us to understand that the Bible or that God is the one who started separation from the beginning?
Right.
He didn't start talking about turn to Genesis. Turn to the book. No, he started with that. Because you can argue with Genesis. You can say, oh, that's just showing. How you going to talk that about that? How you going to say it about insects? How you going to say it about our brain cells and the plants? You can't say that. So he started with something that you can't argue with. Then he starts showing you certain verses in the Bible to get you to see how the white man hid the truth from the black man.
Yes, sir.
Now let's go and show how the Bible does not talk about separation. Because niggas like Bus Stop, he gonna make you think that the Bible, this just what the Bible said. When he trying to take the messenger's teachings and add it to what he talking about, he gonna make you think the Bible said that we supposed to separate. This is just a simple Google search. Now, the one thing I like about Google ain't always right. I gotta say that. Because the same way these niggas, or that I'm using Google, these niggas can use Google too. Google don't always be right. But the one thing I love about Google is it can point you in the right direction. Even when it's not all the way right. It'll give you enough information that if you're really trying to seek out the truth, you can find it. So this is a simple Google search. It says, does the Bible teach separation of the races? It says no. The Bible does not teach the separation of races, but instead teaches that all people are created equal in the image of God. That's what the Bible teaches. It don't teach us, because if it did, them preachers wouldn't have been trying to integrate. The messenger said the Bible is a poison book. It's poison. Just like a prescription. It could either help you or it could kill you. The wrong doses could kill you. But a doctor can take that same poison, give you the right dose, and can heal. We got to understand, that's the same with the Bible. It's truth mixed with falsehood. Because the messenger taught us that the white man fixed the Bible in such a way that God had to come. We got to remember that. Bible ain't something that you just gonna figure out. That's how we try to make it to seem. I was just reading the Bible and the Spirit came on me and told, no. Messenger said that the white man so fixed the Bible that God had to come himself to fix the Bible. He came himself and raised up a message. So let's go on with the Google.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
It says creation. The Bible teaches that all people are descendants of Adam and Eve and are created equally in the image of God. It talks about unity. It says the Bible teaches that all people are extended family and should live in peace and harmony with one another. Equality. The Bible teaches that all races and ethnicities have the same equal status and equal unique value. Interethnic marriage. The Bible sanctions interethnic marriages when they are within the faith. Now let's go even further than that. You got these preachers. This is called ministrymagazine.org. It says biblical myths for racial segregation. It says there's no mention of race. This is something that we got to understand. Because before Bus Stop Bishop now started using the messenger's interpretation, the white man used to use the Bible to get us to hate ourselves. We act like we done forgot all that history. We used to hate ourselves based on what the white man taught us about the Bible. The white man used the same verses that's in the Bible now. The only difference is the messenger then gave us his interpretation. And we so used to people applying the messenger, we just think that's what the Bible said. But the white man made us to believe we were a curse. We believed that God didn't even love. We hated our own selves. But we looked up to the white race. Because in reality, Bible don't mention nothing about no race. That's hard to believe. Then we go on even further than that. It says no Jewish race. Bible don't talk about a Jewish race. Even though Bus Stop Bishop and them be trying to talk about a Jewish race because they add the interpretation of the message. Now let's go to my favorite person, J. Rogers. This is what he says. He says these anthropologists, while pretending to scorn the biblical story of the origin of man and his distribution over the earth, continue to use such terms as Hamitic for the Ethiopians and Semitic for the Jews. These terms, if they have any meaning at all, designate only language groups, precisely as Latin, Anglo-Saxon, and Arab. It is as nonsensical to talk of a Jewish race as it is to talk of a Christian one. Nonsense. There is no Jewish race. But Bishop Nathaniel and them, they try to talk about a Jewish race. They talking about separation. They not giving the messenger credit. They act like that's just what the Bible says. But J.A. Rogers, because what I like about J.A. Rogers, he said these anthropologists, while pretending to scorn the biblical story of the origin of man, because there became a time where history began to expose the white man. He was telling us for years the evolution, we started from a monkey and then we came down to the white man. That's what he taught us. The white man was the first man. So it was anthropologists and historians had started discovering all of this history that the black man is the first man.
Right.
So all these white anthropologists who was teaching us to hate ourselves with the Bible, he says these anthropologists, while pretending to scorn the biblical story of the origin of man and his distribution over the earth, continue to use such terms as Hamite. So they pretending like the white man do. It ain't teaching the truth. The black man is the original man, but you still calling people Hamites. You still talking about Semitic. Ain't no such thing as no Semitic and Hamites. But that's how they classify people. They be talking about anti-Semitic. And people be trying to break down anti-Semitic like it's a real term. Arab, they say Arabs are Semitic. African, it's not a real term. Hamite ain't a real term. But these fake anthropologists who hate that the truth has come, they act like they ain't with the Bible, but they still using biblical terms to describe the black man.
Teach, brother.
Now let's go on even further than that. Because what I like to do, I like to go to the history before black people accepted the message. That's another easy way to show you how it all came from the message. Let's go to 1968. This is an article that comes from the Evening News, July 1st, 1968. It says Muslims seek separation, show pride in being black. Everybody saw the message. Then you got in 1968, this is an article about the Jews. It says black, this one comes from the Sunday Times, December 29th, 1968. Excuse me. It says black Jews isolated, minority among minorities. What does that mean? Why is the white man saying that the black Jews is isolated and they say they are a minority among minorities? Because just like the black Christian, the black Jew wanted integration with the white Jew. So the white man called them a minority in Judaism. Among minorities, the black man in America. Because that's what they used to call us. We minorities. Because the white man outnumber us. But the messenger said the black man outnumbered the white man 11-1.
That's right.
But the white man in America called us minorities. So when you had black Jews, they say these black Jews is isolated because the white Jew didn't care nothing about a nigger Jew like the white Christian didn't care nothing about a nigger Christian. But the nigger Jew was a bootlicker, just like the Christian. No different. Only thing different about a nigger Jew is a nigger Jew didn't care nothing about the black man. That's why you don't hear nothing about nigger Jews till bus stop. The Christian preacher loved the black man. His heart was in the right place. He just had to get his mind right. That's what they used to tell us back in the day. Your heart in the right place. You just got to get your mind right. But a nigger Jew didn't care nothing about the black man. He wasn't trying to help him. He wasn't trying to tell him to change his name, stop eating hog. He wasn't trying to do none of that. He was just a certified bootlicker. So in this article, it's a long article. It has a section in it that called Jews First. It says the black Jews consider themselves Jews first and black second. Now remember, at this time, among the Muslims, they saying pride shows pride in being black. But a nigger Jew, white man sauce. These the niggas who feel like they Jew, but these niggas over here proud of being black. But this section of nigga, they think they Jew first. It says the black Jews consider themselves Jews first and black second. 2 years ago, an article in Newsweek magazine. Because the one thing I don't like about bus stop, because Farrakhan and them don't really say nothing to them. They can act like that history of them back in the day is just hidden. Because why bus stop keep on sharing Muhammad Ali? If these niggas hate Islam so much, they think Islam garbage, they be talking about we worship a rock in Mecca, why these niggas don't never tell us what did Abba Bivin say? What did Yaquab say? Show us what the nigga Jew was. We know what Muhammad Ali, the black man know what Muhammad Ali was saying. We want to know what was the bootlicking nigga Jew saying. We want to respect the nigga Jew. Because we don't know nothing about it. Show us what the nigga Jew was saying. He can't show us no nigga Jew. So what he try to do? He try to say it was Israelites who taught Malcolm. They try to disconnect Muhammad Ali from the message. But they ain't never showed us a nigga Jew. When you look at the white man, he got a record. Whether you look at the newspapers, he telling you 2 years ago, in an article in Newsweek magazine, a young black Jewish girl, Leah Poinsett, summed up her feeling and the feelings of her friends this way. I feel that I'm a Jew first. It's the only thing I do know. The Jew. I'm a Jew. I'm not black. I'm a Jew. Showing you. The Bible don't talk about race. The Bible don't talk about separation. She say, I'm a Jew. I'm not black first. I'm a Jew first. They be trying to act like Jew and black the same thing. Let's go on even further than that. It says another black Jew, a recent convert to Judaism, who has adopted the name David Solomon, put it this way: my blackness does not impose upon me an obligation to black people as such. A boot. Now, I know this ain't nothing compared to what them rabbis you. I just brought a little something because I don't want to talk about it all day. So think about how I feel listening to this nigga bus stop talk about the message. Y'all niggas was the biggest bootlicking niggas on the planet. Yes. Martin Luther King. I love Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King had more love for the black man than a nigger Jew.
Yes.
Martin Luther King, house was firebombed. He was stabbed with an envelope opener. He was hit in the head with a rock. He still continued to do what he thought was right for the black man. Churches being bombed. People being killed. That didn't stop Dr. King. When he knew his life was about to be taken, he didn't stop. He kept on until death took him away. I have respect for Dr. King, but a nigger Jew. They blacker than Muslims now. This brother said, my blackness does not impose upon me an obligation to black people as such. I have an obligation to Israel, spiritual and physical Israel. This nigga bus stop. Now he Israel united in Christ. Now Israel mean all black people in America. This brother said, my blackness don't obligate me to these niggas. So I don't want you to think I'm an Uncle Tom because I want to be with the white man. I'm a Jew first. I have an obligation not to a nigga, but to Israel. Whether it's spiritual Israel or so if it's spook Israel, if it's the physical white Jew, my obligation is to them, not a nigga. He goes on to say, he says, beyond that, I belong and am obligated to the human race. So he did all he can to let the white Jew know, I don't care nothing about them niggas. Even after I show my loyalty to Israel, I still ain't obligated. Now it's the human race. I see my people suffering in the streets all the time. I ain't obligated to them. After I finish bootlicking the white Jew, now I'm going to come bootlick the white Christian. Bootlick the China. Because when a nigga say human race, he's saying everybody other than black people at the top, niggas on the bottom. That's what human race means to a nigga. So let's go on with the Muslims. It says Muslims seek separation, show pride in being black. We ain't gonna read what the Muslims say, because that's obvious. We gonna read what the Lost Found saying about the Muslims. It says, on the other hand, many persons, such as James Terry, said that although they agree with many of the beliefs of the Muslims' faith, they can't buy the part about separation. This is what the white man's saying. It says, on the other hand, many persons, such as Jerry Terry, many of these black people, he ain't the only one, many of them, they like some of the beliefs of the Muslims, but they can't get with the separation. Because the Bible don't be talking about the messenger talked about separation.
Right.
It goes on to say, Terry said, I attribute right now the Negro racial pride, the fact that he's a Negro, right to Elijah Muhammad. I don't give it to a Jew. I don't give it to a preacher. I don't give it to the black nationalists. I don't give it to nobody but Elijah Muhammad. Messenger said, I will be the winner, whether I'm living or dead.
Yes, sir.
We can sit back with this chief hypocrite Louis Eugene and don't say nothing. Don't make a difference. Messenger told us long before I'll be the, not only did the messenger tell us he was going to be the winner, he said, I'm going to be able to fulfill what Allah missioned me to do. He said those who sympathize with Malcolm X won't be successful. He said, look at all those who oppose me. He gave us a long laundry list of things that we can observe to see that he the messenger of God. You don't have to agree. He said, my only job was to deliver you the message. After that, it's up to you. He said, accept it and live, reject it and die. So even though niggas reject it, they still try to accept it at the same time. You reject the messenger, But then you try to add his teachings to your stuff. That ain't accepted. Messenger said when you accept him, you have to accept Allah being God and him being a messenger. That's the first thing. Allah didn't come 9,000 miles for us to add the truth to more falsehood. Messenger said he came and gave us straight, plain truth.
Yes.
He said the truth is so plain that even a fool can't have it. So when the messenger said accept it and live, reject it and die, he ain't talking about what Bus Stop Bishop trying to do. Because Bus Stop Bishop realizes right. But the nigga jealous.
Yes.
That's dangerous. The black man, that's just like what the white man do. Add truth to falsehood. That's what disbelievers do. You hate the message, but you know what he taught is right. But as the Holy Quran say, you got a disease in your heart.
Yes.
It says Allah increases that disease. Allah increasing that disease this nigga got. Just like he increasing our hate we got for him. The more we listen to this nigga, the more we hate.
Yes, sir.
The more this nigga try to fight the messenger, the more he hate.
Yes.
One day it's gonna be a clash. It's gonna be like a keg. Just like how Malcolm talked about the white man then. It's gonna be like a powder keg. A big explosion.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's gonna be. I just wanna be the first Muslim to tell you. Because if it wasn't for this hypocrite Lewis, it would have been an explosion.
Yes, sir.
This nigga wouldn't have been able to get that IUIC stuff off the ground if Muslims was Muslims.
Yes.
But let's go on, praise due to Allah. Let's go on with the message. So this is Terry. He said, I attribute right now the Negro racial pride. The fact that he's a Negro, right to Elijah Muhammad. Is he a Muslim? No, sir. But I also follow their views, and I think it's a good organization. I don't belong, and I never have any intentions to. But I think the things they have done towards making the Negro have racial pride, stop him from degrading himself, things like that, are some of the social benefits we didn't derive from any place else. So you think this nigga Bus Stop would have been a no? He wouldn't have been able to, because lost founds used to defend the message. It wasn't just the Muslim. It was brothers like Terry.
Yeah.
Terry see the message. Terry don't want to be a Muslim. But Terry see what the messenger doing.
Right.
Terry standing on the corner looking at this nigga Bus Stop. Like that's what the messenger teach. He know exact, even though he ain't accepted. He know exactly what the messenger teach. He see the benefits of what the messenger teach on the black man.
Right.
So what you think a Muslim felt? Let's go on in first. He goes on to say, he says, we see the Negroes now wearing their hair. They used to cut their hair off. They don't do this anymore because this is my hair. This is what I wear. This is my color. This is what I wear, and so on. I am a man like anybody else. This is what Mr. Elijah Muhammad is teaching. Messengers say, I will be the winner, whether I'm living or dead. It ain't gotta be a Muslim. This hypocrite Louis Eugene and them fakes with him, sit back. You will be the loser. Because the messenger said, if you and me, Allah will be with you.
Yes.
You and me 100%, Allah's with you 1,000%. But if you deviate from me, he deviates from you. It don't make a difference if you a big time hypocrite or you a big time disbeliever. If you against the messenger, Allah is against you. You think Master Farad Muhammad came and raised the messenger for all black people to see, to bow down to niggas like Bus Stop? No. He just letting Bus Stop go and be an example. Just like Pharaoh was an example. Just like Nineveh was an example. Just like Babylon, and this nigga gonna be just another example just in the modern time. So he said, all this stuff we got from no other place. We got this from Mr. Elijah Muhammad. This was a lost find. But let's go on even further than that. Last one. This one of my favorites. This comes from the July 31st, 1975, the Catholic Advance. This was a black man who was a priest. When you go to the newspaper, he the only black man on the page. You got all these white priests talking about this Catholic stuff. Then you got him talking about black Muslims revisited. This was when Wallace started changing stuff. He don't even agree with the messenger's the belief. But listen to what he say about the Muslims. He says the black Muslims have proved that blacks can stick together and become socially, economically, and culturally independent. A priest, after the messenger gone, after Wallace discredited the message, Farrakhan turned his back, started talking again, a Catholic priest. Man say, I'm gonna be the winner.
Yes.
It's honeycomb with hypocrites, it don't matter. He said, all I have to do is give a clear delivery of the message.
Yes, sir.
He said it's gonna be so plain, even a fool can't answer. He also taught us. He said some of my best followers are yet in the street.
Yes, sir.
So this Catholic priest, he says the black Muslims have proved, not that they showed us, not that they tried, not that they made a good effort, they proved. That's a whole different thing than this nigga bust. We gotta wait to see what this nigga about to do. The messenger proved it before many of us was born. He already proved. He proved how blacks can stick together and become socially, economically, and culturally independent. He said they have amassed a striking earthly kingdom of and by themselves. They own a Chicago bank and other valuable properties over the country. They have lucrative farms. What does lucrative mean? Lucrative means produce a great deal of profit. He says the messenger have lucrative farms in the Southland. Now we see this nigga bus stop talking about IUIC official land blitz. This is about the future of our nation and the many benefits it can bring. God told us in Zephaniah 2:1, we must gather ourselves together and get closer and closer to self-sufficiency. Join us in helping obtain this land. This nigga just, what Muslim wouldn't want to fight this nigga? That's what I just can't understand.
Yes, sir.
I can't, that's why I say I want to represent a believer.
Yes.
Not just saying a Muslim. It's different kind of Muslims. I want to represent that Muslim that's sitting there like David. David was never afraid of Goliath. He just felt like, well, I know Allah got the power. I don't know why he ain't letting us just destroy this Goliath. But if he don't want to do it now, I'll just wait on him. I'll play my harp. I'll make music because David was a musician. Playing his Lord's music. Waiting on the day God give him the green light with this nigga Goliath. Same thing with us.
Yes, sir.
I see the same dirty niggas everybody see. I see the same, they got all these dirty niggas in every city, but I'm like David. We just come here every week, hurling truth at falsehood, because just like David, we know Allah gonna win.
That's right.
We just waiting for our day with this nigga bus stop.
Yes.
Just like David. He was still talking about how he gonna win before Goliath even knew who he was. When Goliath finally saw David, he didn't think nothing of David. Just like this nigga bus stop, he hear me. I know they do. I put my videos on they thing. This nigga hear me.
Yes.
But just like Goliath, he think we some insignificant niggas.
Yes.
That's okay. Because just like the messenger said, he said, I'd be the winner whether I'm living or dead. Because he understood. It's believers.
Yes.
It's always, that's how I feel. I don't know how this gonna go. I might make it to see it, I might not. But the one thing I do know, it's about the believers.
Yes.
A believer gonna wanna do to this nigga with the truth what I wanna do to this nigga. I ain't gotta be here. I know these videos gonna last for years after I'm gone. I want them brothers that finally do get the tables turned on this nigga. I want them to know, I wish I was with you. That's what I want them to know. And that's why I make these videos. Because the messenger said we writing our book.
Yes.
We writing our book like Moses wrote his book. Like Abraham. Like all the believers before us. They gonna be looking at us like this is what we was doing. During the time of the messenger.
Yes.
You ask a whole lot of people who wasn't even all that Elijah Muhammad did. Just like how we read stuff about Sodom and Gomorrah. We say if I would have saw that, I would have went with Lot. If I would have saw Moses part the Red Sea, I'd have been with Moses. If I'd have saw Jesus rise from the dead, I'd have been with Jesus. That's the same thing they gonna be saying looking at us. If I'd have seen Elijah Muhammad in the belly of the beast, transforming a dead man, I'd have been with him.
Yes, sir.
But let's go on with this nigga. He not trying to get farms. But this black priest, he said Elijah Muhammad done already proved it. He had lucrative farms. So why we waiting on him to try to do something when the messenger already proved it? Let's go on any further than that. It says they own a Chicago bank and other valuable properties over the country. They have a lucrative farms in Southland. They conduct their own schools and their students are clean cut and disciplined. They own and operate a large fish import business in this country. Their strict separation from and independence of white interference and their denial to whites of membership often cites fear and apprehension among whites. From the grassroots level, even up to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So what Muslims waiting to see this nigga do? Messenger already did it. The white man from the grassroots all the way up to the federal was afraid of the messenger. Because he was independent. He had no use for them. He wasn't letting them join. All before bus stop and them came. Let's go on any further than that. He says the American mentality is often unique and often strange. It fomented and implemented a separatist society with a wasp ethic. Such even became written law in certain sections of our country. In other more circumspect areas, the unwritten law. But when the black Muslims themselves translated this ethic into an organization to be noticed and reckoned with, priests, not only is they noticed, but he built this organization as something to be reckoned with. And he talking about the white man. So what you think Muslims would have said to him? This is all that a Christian priest, with all the rest of these white priests, he laying it down for the message. He says, but when the black Muslims themselves translated this ethic into an organization to be noticed and reckoned with, especially in its independence from white society, America became apprehensive and fearful. So this is just another example of what Master Farad Muhammad came and did. Whether we agree with it, whether we bear witness to it, whether we believe it, he did it. He came 9,000 miles, raised up a messenger, resurrected a mentally dead people and made them into a nation. A nation that the beast feared and they knew they couldn't even reckon with. This is what Master Farad Muhammad came to do. So the messenger said, he said the white race's time is up. He said their time was up in 1914. He said the only holdup is us. He said Allah never destroys a people without giving them a warning. He said the white race, Allah never came to teach them. He said they got a nature that's wicked and evil. But Allah has mercy. So he even sends them a warning. But when Allah returns, he only returning for those who accept his message.
Yes, sir.
That's what we got to understand. It ain't those who accept a little bit and some not. It's those who accept his messenger 100%. Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful, soul master's day of judgment in which we now live. The alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou spell thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is earth to be served, worship to praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.